This meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. All right. Just a reminder, Supervisor Ung is not here today, and we wish him well traveling back from his vacation. First up, on number 1 is approval of the agenda. I will move it.
Second.
All right. Motion by Bittinger, second by Nelson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 4-0. Items 2 through 8 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Number 2, approval of the minutes of the May 13th, 2025 meeting. Number 3 is approval of claims. Number 4, from Board Administration, Karen James, approval of resolution for a tax suspension for RO. Item B is approval of resolution for a tax suspension for SB. And C is approval of resolution thanking and commending Teresa Yoakum for her years of service. Number 6, from Human Resources, Melissa Thomas, is the approval of the memorandum of personnel transactions. And item B is the approval of the mobile device management policy. Number 6, from County Auditor, Michelle Scaff, it's the approval of resolutions for drainage ditch assessments for Little Sioux Intercounty, McCandless, and Sand Hill Lakeport drainage ditches. That's exciting stuff right there. It's good stuff. Thank you, Michelle. I mean, this is what we live for. Number 7, Board Administration, Ryan Erickson, approval of transfer of $600,000 to the South Health County Insurance Fund from General Supplement. And number 8, from Secondary Roads, Laura Severs, it's the approval of utility permit for placement of new fiber optic cable in the county right-of-way for long lines. And with that, that ends the consent agenda, and I will move that.
Second.
All right, motion by Bittinger, second by Nelson. Any discussion? Comments? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 4-0. It may not always be the most exciting things, but it's necessary, right? And so, thank you guys for all working hard on that stuff. All right, number 8, Board of Supervisors. Supervisor Dietrich, turn it over to you.
All right, so yeah, I have this agenda item on here. I'm going to actually, I'll talk a little bit about it. So Jeanette Beekman is the secretary for the Woodbury County Solid Waste Agency. She only gets paid for these meetings for the meetings, so it's $300 a meeting, and there hasn't been a meeting for approximately 30 months. So anyway, she does a lot of things. She works with the DNR. She works with the engineers that take care of the old landfill for the tests, the well tests, and all that kind of stuff. And so she has sent me emails about this and the things that she has taken care of. But I was going to originally have this come out of the landfill fund, but I'm working with the towns. We're going to get a board put together so we can get some things going on this. By the bylaws, they're supposed to meet twice a year minimum. So without being able to, for us to take that out of the landfill fund, I'm going to move to table this, and then until I get a board put together for the landfill, for the waste agency board.
Okay.
I'll second that. Dave, thanks for your work on this, and so people understand is that Jeanette only gets paid if they have a meeting, but there's lots of work that goes on outside of these meetings that she's been having to do for several years, and I appreciate, I know Jeanette has said that you've been very active on the landfill committee, and so thanks for that. And yeah, obviously it's nothing that we can do, but I think we call attention to it. If you could kind of circle the wagons and get everybody back going again, that'll be the best thing that we can do.
Yep, and hopefully, there's some towns out there listening. I will be calling. I've sent an email out as well. But Jeanette takes care of the annual financial reports, account balances, reviewing environmental compliance reports, prior to DNR submittal, semi-annual inspection reports, and among other things as well. So without her there, and these things would fall on someone else, and we'd have to be finding someone else to do it. So.
Okay. All right, motion by Dietrich to table, second by Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say, same sign. Motion passes 4-0. All right, that brings us to our 4:35 set time. Item 10, just for the good of the public, as you know, this is not Groundhog's Day, but or deja vu. We have been here before with this, and so we are having to do this to make sure we have the correct minutes. And last time we did this, the minutes were not detailed enough, and so Christina, come on up. But with that, let me just open up item A is the public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant application. So I will move to open up the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Bittinger, second by Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. At this point, the microphone's open. Anybody wants to come and speak during the public hearing, you can just stay there. You're good. We know Doyle. Doyle's one of our. So anyone here to speak on behalf of this?
Seeing no public comment, Mr. Chair, I move that the public hearing be closed.
I believe I need.
Do you need to speak during the
I
public?
need to speak to this.
Okay.
Like, we have to, the minutes have to reflect that
During the
these
public
items
hearing.
were discussed
Okay.
during the public hearing, yes.
Okay, it's just not
So
regular comments, okay.
I don't want to get caught.
Sure, go ahead.
So, for the Community Development Block Grant, for the purpose of the public hearing, how the need for the activities was identified. The current physical facility housing Crittenden Center's transitional therapeutic home was built in the 70s, previously served as a nursing home and does not, no longer meets the needs of addressing the trauma needs of youth, and as well as limits the number of youth that can be served. The client mix of youth served by the TTH has been changing over the years, and we're now serving a younger and younger population. Children in and exiting foster care at increased risk of homelessness, which carries additional risks of human trafficking. There's an overall decline in shelter beds across the state of Iowa. Children served by the child welfare system have experienced significant trauma. And Crittenden Center, and in speaking with the Woodbury County Board of Supervisors, we've done some strategic planning to address the above needs, review of agency data and information, review of demographic trends, including a decrease in average age of youth and an increase in average length of stay, review of past and emerging research regarding evidence-based programs and best practices to guide the facility design, researching and visiting other residential programs within Iowa and across the nation, input from the youth, and that's really important to us, from those who are actually accessing our services, from the staff who are providing the services, and from family and caregivers working with the youth, as well as from community members and agencies. And you can see in the Community Development Block Grant application the long list of community providers who are in support of the application, administering the collaborative values inventory in the fall of last year, and the Community Development and Housing Needs Assessment, which is reflected on page 18 of the Community Development Block Grant application that's included. That was reviewed at the April Board of Supervisors meeting. Funding for this activity, we will be requesting $600,000 for the approximately $1.2 million project. Some of the funding has been secured, and the remainder will be secured through donors, grants, Department of Health and Human Services, and foundation dollars that will be secured by Crittenden Center. We intend to submit it on or before June 30th. Again, the requested amount is $600,000. 100% of those funds will benefit low and moderate income persons, as the project is for a homeless shelter for youth. That will occur at our shelter location at 3901 Green Avenue here in Sioux City. Due to the nature of this project, we are not anticipating that we will displace any persons or businesses. It's an existing facility that we have that we'll be doing renovations to. In the event that anybody is displaced, we will adhere to the requirements of the Relocation and Acquisition Act. And the overall purpose, again, and the nature of the proposed activities is to make renovations and improvements to the transitional therapeutic home or our child welfare emergency shelter located at 3901 Green Avenue, include the addition of a shower and restroom space, updating flooring throughout the facility, updating security features, some updates to the kitchen, as well as exterior upgrades. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Is it desired to have a copy of that attached to the minutes?
Christina, yeah, what do you need exactly? That we can do that. We could receive that. Right.
Yes, I will.
Yes.
This has to be directly immersed in the minutes.
The minutes is what we need.
It was a,
Yeah.
so I can send you, it's in the packet mostly, I believe, but I can send you an updated.
Well,
Word document
we can
following.
receive that right there. Yeah.
If she would like to have you receive that, yes,
Yeah.
you may.
All right, I will move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Bittinger, second by Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Christina. After this go through, we will be professionals, and so any more block grants, please apply. We're going to have this down pat.
Seeing no further public comment, Mr. Chair.
Oh, hold on, we have someone moving to the mic still.
And part of the history behind there were some slight revisions to the application from the initial one.
Yeah.
Primarily reducing the scope of the project a little bit to show more shovel readiness for block grant funders, as well as really clarifying throughout the project that more than 51% of the individuals served at our shelter come from outside of Sioux City proper, and that was some HUD requirements that we had to really clearly identify within the narrative of the application. But the application is in the packet provided to the board, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Seeing no additional public comments, I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
All right, motion by Nelson, second by Dietrich. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Christina, for your hard work and working with the board, and first time going through this, thank you. Item B is the approval of the Community Development Housing Needs Assessment Draft. As before, we've already approved that. Christina, do you want to highlight the priorities which the board selected at the last meeting?
Yes, I
Just
certainly
briefly,
can. So there was the board discussed at the last meeting the development and housing needs of LMI individuals, for non-LMI individuals, and then a plan in place to address those. And so the needs were identified a variety of housing options, access to safe, high-quality housing, and home ownership, and those were determined during last month's meeting, as well as a review of information from the Woodbury County Comprehensive Plan 2040. About 23% of Woodbury County households were paying over 30% of household income towards housing costs. Renters are much more likely to pay disproportionately high costs. At the beginning of 2020, the total number of homeless individuals had increased by 20% from the previous years, and the pandemic had most likely exacerbated this trend. There are insufficient beds for the number of homeless individuals. Woodbury has a countywide poverty rate of 12.4% in 2020, saw a 71% increase in housing costs between 2000 and 2020. And this board identified the needs of a variety of housing options and access to safe, high-quality housing and home ownership all as high priority. For those for non-LMI, the needs were quality housing that is safe, efficient, reliable, preserving the rural character of the county, and economic development. Those were again discussed at the last meeting, as well as information from the plan. More than 53% of Woodbury County housing units were built in 1960, and roughly 76 were built prior to 1980. There are areas of concentrated poverty within Sioux City. There's more than 1,000 rural Woodbury County residents were estimated in 2020 to be living in poverty. A majority of job opportunities are located in the Sioux City metro area, while rural residents living in small town and unincorporated areas must commute. The rural nature of the county is seen as a strength, and there was a 71% increase in housing costs again. So the prioritization for each of those needs was identified as high for quality housing and preserving the rural character and economic development. And then the planned activities to address those needs identified is a variety of housing options, encouraging flexibility, quantity of high-quality, affordable rental units that can meet the diverse needs of residents of all ages, increasing the number of affordable housing units, encourage the development of upper store units, access to safe, and then directing funding towards affordable housing options for vulnerable populations, directing funding towards emergency shelters, housing, and social work services for homeless individuals living in the county, and that directly ties to applying for community development block grant funds to support renovation and remodeling at Crittenden Center's youth homeless shelter, connecting residents with funding opportunities that provide financial assistance. Under homeownership was connecting residents with information and resources, and then quality housing that is safe, efficient, and reliable, provide rehabilitation assistant resources for homeowners, target outreach to minority and under-resourced communities, target outreach to homeowners that may be impacted by disasters. Preserving the rural nature is limit density in rural areas outside of incorporated cities, protect agricultural land, wildlife habitat, and outdoor recreational land, and prioritize new development to locate adjacent to existing town limits, and prioritize the rehabilitation of existing structures, infill development, and brownfield redevelopment, again tying to community development block grant funds to support the renovation and remodeling of the existing youth homeless shelter versus building new. Economic development is to follow recommendations as outlined in the Comprehensive Plan 2040, which includes but not limited to regional priorities, maintaining core industries, encouraging diversification of economy and support of small businesses, enhance quality of life and encourage healthy lifestyles, and ensure that economic opportunities are available to all residents regardless of race, age, sex, religion, or ability.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's good, yep. So to sum that up for the board, remember last time we approved 6, we were asking 6 questions, well, we had to rank those low, medium, or high. And so all 6 questions, as Christina answered, we ranked those high as preservation, accessible, new houses, good houses, preservation of the rural. So we just want to read those again, just to make sure we get everything in the minutes, everything in the public meeting recorded. So thank you for that. All right, so with that, I'll move to approve the community development and housing needs assessment draft.
Second.
Motion by Bittinger, second by Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes 4-0. And then lastly is approval of resolution authorizing the community development block grant application. I will move that.
Second.
All right, motion by Bittinger, second by Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion passes 4-0. Once again, for the public's good, last month, the board did already approve this, but once again, we are doing this again to make sure the minutes are correctly reflect what was passed for the state. And so we want to say thank you for Christina and the Creighton Center for working hard on this, and we are looking forward to seeing this, receiving this money and seeing the center being updated and to help our youth that are in need. So, yeah. Anything from the board? All right. Well, with that, we'll move on. So, with that, number 11, reports and committee meetings. Does anybody have any?
So I had one
Nope, go ahead.
yeah, it was the Simcoe Executive Finance Affairs Committee last Wednesday. And, I am learning a lot of this stuff with Simcoe and certs out there as well. But one of the things that, kind of got brought up, and I guess I need to dive into this a little bit more. I think at one point in time, maybe we were paying the town dues for the Simcoe, small towns for that. One of the things that they do, and maybe we need to look at it, I don't know what the cost is to us though, so that's one thing I need to get with Ryan and find out, but they help with the CDBG project applications, and they've been doing a lot of that, and some towns might just jump on and pay their dues if they need help with something like that, and some then go off of it, so they might just kind of go back and forth, but the community development block grants and different things, so Ryan, I'll probably get with you at some point and just kind of see what the costs were.
Okay. All right.
We had emergency 911 board meeting last week. They're working on a new generator and supporting infrastructure for the tower down in Danbury, and so they're working with a contractor on I actually think we can get a even lower price. We actually, the bid kind of came back with a decent rate, but then the contractor said, well, if we do these things, we can make it a little cheaper. So looking into that. From secondary roads, I meant to talk about this last week, but we've got 2 bridges in the county that have been out for a long time that opened up. One on Michigan Avenue that's been closed since 2019. That opened up 2 weeks ago. And so that's between Anthony and Correctionville. And then Jewel Avenue opened up as well, which is, that's been a 3-ton bridge for about as long as I can remember. It's kind of between Mobile and Anthony. So great to have those bridges back open and new. Also the work on the Minnesota Avenue Bridge on the east side of Pearson is ongoing, has started. That's the one that the city of Pearson got a grant from the federal government. That's kind of a cooperative project. And that's been a bridge I hear about all the time. It's a heavy traveled road, especially with trucks heading up to the ethanol plant in Marcus. And it's a really steep hill and it's a dangerous intersection. And so the county is actually redesigning that bridge and that hill. And they're gonna bring the grade of the road up about 5 feet.
Oh,
If you can imagine that, and so it's gonna make that intersection way better. And so I'm excited to see that done, and you drive by and see the work that they're doing, but that's all good things. I also stopped by in Pearson. Our secondary road workers are working on building a roof and side structure over our salt. We just had a salt bunker there in Pearson at the county maintenance shed, and that's gonna be an actual salt shed and be a little more weather friendly,
Yeah.
keeping the stuff out of the elements. It looks great. So all good things.
Good. All right. Go ahead, Kent, and I'll finish.
Okay, yeah, I just had a committee meeting with Community Action Agency, and looks like they have some extra pallets of food that were brought in to the food bank, and they'd like to get out to the Westwood School District and Sloan, and anybody that's in that district, and try to provide some extra food for some families over there. Also, they discussed some weatherization issues, that they were weatherizing some houses a little too tightly, and it caused some mold to grow, so they have to monitor that. So
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. But, all right, all I have, I've just got three. We had our WCICC meeting. It's amazing to see how many programs and software programs that are used by the county and the city that those departments oversee, and how many upgrades and security patches and having to keep up with the latest changing and attacks on our network. And so we were just updated in this meeting. They're doing a great job of just kind of keep up to date on that, and then physically updating old equipment. As you know, none of us have our PCs from the early 2000s, and so it's just neat to see how that is just such constant vigilance to make sure that we are up to date. So thank you to WCICC for that. Secondly, the SHIP, the Siouxland Human Investment Partnership, they are just expanding their offices that's adjacent to their current office, so we saw some of the plans for that. And then just Beyond the Bell, summer programs are open for Beyond the Bell for childcare at our schools, and so it's open to parents, so you can go to the Beyond the Bell website and sign up for that if you need child care for your child during the summer. And then lastly, Siouxland District Health, we had some budget amendments mid-year, adjusting their budget. And then to our rural citizens, if you need to have your water well tested, Siouxland District Health will come out and test your well and the water, and check the physical condition of your well. And so if you need that, just please reach out to Siouxland District Health, and they are ready to serve our rural population with that. So that's all that I have for committee meetings. All right, on to number 12, citizen concerns. Please come forward and just state your name only now. Yeah.
Doyle Turner. Seems like it's been forever since I've seen you guys. So I've spent quite a lot of time down at the Capitol during session. We did finally get a pipeline bill passed the Senate. Kind of had to blow up the Senate in order to do it. We had 14 Democrat votes and 13 Republican votes, but we got it through. So now it's just a matter of whether the governor will sign it or not. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was Senator Clemish has continually brought a bill concerning wind turbines, and now he's adding solar into it. And it appears that they are going to want to make a master matrix for next year and try and take away local control. And I have a real problem with that, because I don't have a problem with the livestock master matrix, because that is an ag activity in an ag zoned area. When it comes to wind and solar, the misconception is that we're taking farmers' rights away from them and they can't put up a turbine or a solar. And the fact of the matter is, in 99 counties, we have not denied any farmers from putting up wind or solar for their own purposes. The only thing we haven't allowed in some counties is to allow industrial processes into the ag zoned area. So I think it's going to be important. That's going to be probably a little more difficult to fight. And so I think we need to be cognitive of that and be thinking forward for the next session. Mark Nara did speak to at least a couple representatives trying to deal with 718. The appetite just wasn't there this session to do anything. So that's something that I think we need to continue trying to solve. It amazes me that the state increased their budget by about almost double what they allow the counties to increase their budget. So I guess that you guys just get the unfunded requirements and they can spend whatever they want. So they also dipped into reserves by just short of $1 billion in this budget. So it amazes me that they're all over our counties for being fiscally responsible. It doesn't seem to come back to home. So just wanted to kind of give you an update, and hopefully I'll be seeing you more every week again. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Doyle.
Thanks, Doyle.
Any other citizens that are out here? It's good to have you back. All right, let's move on. Number 13, board concerns. Just for all of our officials, department heads that submitted a CIP project, just a reminder, we will have that approval process, a yes or no on those, on Tuesday, June 3rd, our board meeting. So I know next week, Supervisor Nelson, you're gone. And we're gonna make sure we'll do this when everyone's back. We have the full board for that. So just on June 3rd, those that submitted a CIP, we'll have that approval, yes or no, at that meeting. So that's what I have. Speaking to the spending of the budget, I just actually spoke with someone before the meeting today, Doyle, about that same thing. They said, well, the states is spending more than what we were allowed to raise our budget by the new constraints of the bills by double, and they just thought that was very ironic. So I think it's not a good perception for our legislators. Okay, that's all I have. Anybody else? Anything? If not,
I was just gonna say, in the last week and over the weekend, I couldn't believe the feedback that I received as far as the board supporting of Moville's McDye and the Crittenden Center with this daycare project. In my short 3 years, it was easily the most feedback I'd gotten from young people across the county. And I had several people from Anthon, several people from Correctionville, people from Moville that were just very appreciative that the board was even taking up that notion, because I think they feel like as working families with kids that they're not the target of issues in the county or in their daily lives. And all of them, I couldn't believe how many people I heard from about their struggle to find childcare in the county, and we're very supportive of that. And then I had even more questions that, there were comments about, well, hopefully this can be replicated other places, and there were questions about the funding source of that with local option and what was that. And so it was neat to talk about, well, those are monies that we collect from local option sales tax. So when you buy something in the county, and they can only be spent on economic development type projects. We can't use it to just fund regular government. So it's kind of one of those neat funds that we get to decide how we can use those funds to better the county as a whole. And so appreciate KTIV and KCU, you guys covered that story really great. But again, it was, as far as young people interacting with what we had going on, I couldn't believe the feedback on that. It was a great thing. So sometimes we get to do some fun things up here. So.
Right. Yep. One thing I'll just, I forgot to mention last week, but last Thursday, Supervisor Nelson and I had the privilege to be interviewed by Business View magazine in Woodbury County. It's going to be highlighted. I believe it's their August or late August edition. Lamar's was featured, I think it was a couple of years ago, and this is a magazine designed to highlight governments, local counties, cities, and stuff like that. And so that'll be coming out. But it was a good interview. A lot of positive things. When we sat down afterwards, we talked. We were like, wow, there's a lot of good things in Woodbury County going on. And there's a lot of things we got to keep working at. But there's a lot of good things for the county of all different types of populations. And if you want to live rural or live in the city or kind of in suburbia, there's a lot of different things. And so that's something to be looking forward to. When we get that, we'll have copies for everyone of that magazine. And so magazine article, let me clarify that. So. But thank you to Business View Magazine for reaching out to Woodbury County. We appreciate that. But, all right. Anything